My name is Janae Stracke, and this is On Air with Heritage Action, a podcast built for conservatives. Twice a week, we break down in 5-ish minutes or less how you can get involved today in the fight for conservative values. Overwhelmingly, Americans are pro-life. You won't hear it from corporate media, but it's true. They want you to think that you're in the minority. They don't want you to speak out. They don't want you advocating for life. But the numbers reveal a very different story. You are the majority, and by a lot. America is a pro-life nation. And I want you to know the numbers, the truth, so that you can feel empowered in speaking up and defending life. The left has constructed a false narrative around abortion. They want you to believe that abortion on demand is needed and celebrated. But it's just not true, and I'm about to dismantle that idea in about the next 5 minutes. First, the pro-life majority. 73% of Americans believe an unborn baby is a human being, and 71% of Americans oppose abortion after 12 weeks. 12 weeks, that is far beyond the left's idea of abortion on demand. While Americans are pro-life, our federal laws are not. In fact, you might be surprised to hear this, but compared to the rest of the world, America's federal abortion laws are extremely pro-abortion. 75% of nations do not permit elective abortions after 12 weeks. America's federal laws are far to the left of all of Europe and almost the entire world on this issue. Out of 198 countries, America is the only one of 5 that allow elective late-term abortions. The 5 countries, Canada, China, North Korea, Vietnam, and the United States, are allowing elective late-term abortions. The United States is with China, North Korea, and Vietnam. That is crazy and not good. Now, that's federally. Federally, our laws are radically and dangerously pro-abortion, but many states have passed pro-life legislation, and more of that is going on. There's more work to be done. So that's because if Roe is overturned, greater decision-making power will be returned to the people and their legislators. This is great. We welcome this conversation. Democrats right now want to preempt state election laws. They want to pass a radical federal bill that is abortion for all. This would overturn all of the pro-life work that we're doing in the states. Here are the protections for babies that Democrats are arguing against. Protect the unborn from gruesome late-term abortions, which we know are happening. There was a recent story of babies found outside a DC Planned Parenthood, fully intact babies. If you did not see this story, go to Live Action's, any of their social media pages and see this. I think it's important for Americans to know this is not a talking point. It is happening. Democrats are also arguing against protecting unborn once they are capable of feeling pain. They are against protecting babies once they are viable outside the womb, which we'll talk about later on. But the record is a baby living at 21 weeks and 5 days. There are 2 different babies that have survived outside the womb at that age. Democrats are also against protecting babies that are being targeted and killed based on their race, gender, or genetics. Democrats' abortion agenda can basically be summed up as late-term abortions in 3rd trimester, taxpayer-funded abortions, abortions for selecting the sex of the baby, and of course, they are against medical care for babies born during a botched abortion. This is a baby that survived, is outside the womb, and Democrats and the progressive left want them to be left to die. Guys, elected Democrats are on the fringe. And remember, that's not just the fringe of America, but the fringe of the entire world. Their policies are aligned, let me remind you again, with China and North Korea. Meanwhile, Republicans, independents, and even some Democrat voters, not their candidates, unfortunately, are in the mainstream pro-life position. 3/4 of America is firmly against late-term abortions. Our pro-life policies and views are much closer to countries like England and France not communist dictatorships. Why? Because we all recognize the humanity of babies. They're people just like us. So here's what you can share. Babies are just like us. They are a life. At 6 weeks, they have a heartbeat. At 12 weeks, they can wiggle their toes. At 15 weeks, they feel pain. At 21 weeks, those wiggling toes are now kicking. We can feel that outside the womb. And at 24 weeks, they're viable outside the womb. And as I mentioned earlier, the survival rate at 22 weeks is 50%. That is significant. Most people look at a vulnerable child and want to protect them, not kill them. This is a natural human instinct. If you talk to children of a young age, this instinct is so evident as they exhibit their innocence and love towards babies. It's why most Americans would rather support mothers and help them with pregnancy resources rather than sending over $500 million taxpayer dollars to abortion industry groups like Planned Parenthood. I'll leave you with one last thought on America's pro-life makeup. Around 7 million Americans are adopted. Nearly 100 million Americans have adoption in their immediate family. And over 1 million couples are waiting to adopt. That's a lot of people. Almost everyone has a family member or friend or coworker whose life has been blessed by adoption. Maybe you were adopted, maybe your family adopted, or you most certainly know someone who was adopted. We've all been blessed by individuals choosing to embrace life. No, it is not always easy, but life is beautiful and it is right. And we have proven to support that right in encouraging people to choose that life. We're all here because someone chose to embrace life. And if that's not incentive for us to speak up and advocate for the life of these babies, these unborn babies, I don't know what is. So I want to encourage all of you not only to share these graphics and stats and statistics with your friends and families, but to call your senators. Let them know that you support life and tell them to oppose any bill that would overturn these state protections for the unborn. For more resources, you can go to heritageaction.com and click on action. We will also share the link in our description. Remember, you and I are not the minority. We are part of a pro-life nation. Now let's make sure that our laws reflect that. That's it for another episode of On Air with Heritage Action. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard in today's episode, please click the follow button. If you want to receive a text message each time a new episode airs, text podcast to 51776 and you'll never miss an episode. That's podcast to 51776. Hi, it's me again, and we need your help. If you like the insights and activist resources we are providing, please take 1 minute and help us spread the word. Share this episode with friends and family on social media, email, or text. We need everyone's help in the fight to hold Washington accountable. And don't forget, you are also able to subscribe and listen to episodes on your smartphone. Just open up your favorite podcast app and search for On Air with Heritage Action. Click subscribe and download episodes so you can take them with you on the go. It's the best way to make sure you never miss a thing. Thanks.